All right, welcome back here to the Hill on News Nation. So the Justice and Homeland Security Departments are now doubling down against the state of Texas, filing today a second memorandum regarding the state's takeover of city-owned riverfront property following the drowning of 3 migrants on Friday. Now, that filing says, quote, at approximately 9 in the evening, Mexican officials advised Border Patrol of 2 migrants in distress on the U.S. side of the river. Mexican officials also informed Border Patrol agents that 3 migrants, 1 woman and 2 children, had drowned at approximately 8 o'clock in the same area. There's a back and forth going on now as to who is responsible for the deaths of those 3 people. Joining us now is the Republican Congresswoman from the state of Texas, Monica De La Cruz. She is also from Brownsville, a city located, as you might know, on the border. I believe the furthest southeast you could go there, at least the congressional district. Congresswoman, thank you for being back here on the Hill. Appreciate the time. So Greg Abbott basically telling the feds to step aside, saying, we got this. Right move?
Well, what he's telling the feds is he's telling them, do your job. And if you're not going to do it, I am. And Governor Abbott is doing exactly what he was elected to do, to protect our citizens of Texas, to protect our border, and he's using the means available to do so. I hope it sends a clear message to the Biden administration that they need to do their job and to put border security policies that work, like the Remain in Mexico policy and ending the catch and release policy.
So this is the governor saying, look, you know, our officers, our officials, this is our area. They're the ones that are going to be handling this. When, Congresswoman, then does this become Greg Abbott's responsibility? Because I just heard you talk about the Biden administration. At some point, if you shove the feds aside, aren't the results for better or worse on him at some point in time?
Well, it's unfortunate that the Biden administration has failed border communities like mine, failed Texans, and quite truly failed all Americans. Thank God that Governor Abbott is stepping up to the plate to secure our border. It's unfortunate that the Biden administration continues to turn a blind eye on 10 million illegal immigrants who have crossed.
I hear you, but when does this become his responsibility then?
Well, Governor Abbott is taking the bull by the horns, as they say it in Texas, and securing the border. That's why he has sent the National Guard, Texas DPS, to the border to help Border Patrol and others secure our border.
Back here in Washington, there's a pretty big meeting over at the White House tomorrow. President Biden and the big 4 congressional leaders, as you know, Congresswoman, they're trying to put together some sort of a border deal in exchange for funding for Ukraine, funding for Israel. What would you be willing to support on the Ukraine front, as there are some in your party who want to cut off funding? What are you willing to support on the Ukraine front in order to get what you want down at the southern border?
Look, border security has been what I've talked to Speaker Johnson about and others. We must secure our border. We are in a very slim majority. 2 votes now to our House majority. We don't have the White House and we don't have the Senate. I believe that Speaker Johnson is a great leader and has the negotiating power to use the tools available to him to get us the border security that we need, and we need it now. I look forward to hearing in conference what Speaker Johnson is actually going to come up with.
Congresswoman De La Cruz, we got to leave it there. We hope you come on back. Thanks for joining us live from Brownsville in Texas, I believe. Thanks, Congresswoman.